tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow.
Welcome in, guys. Welcome to a live here on Monday. It's Real Bucs Talk back with you. I am back, your host, Michael Plus, joined as always, my co-host, Mark Ramirez. And I don't know what's happened to this Buccaneers team in December, but they have found a way to put together wins 4 in a row. Yesterday was another complete team performance. They got contributions from the offense, defense, and special teams, and ended up winning this game 30-12. It was 30-0 at one point. So pretty impressive win over a Jacksonville team that was also, in playoff hopes. They're in a fight for the division. So Buccaneers at one point 4-7. We thought, coaches were going to be fired. We thought everything was going to change. And now, a month later, they're 8-7 and have a chance to, win the division and get into the playoffs once again. So, Mark, first of all, Merry Christmas, and how are you doing on this Victory Monday?
Feels fantastic. I mean, it's Christmas, right, guys?
Mm-hmm.
Hope you guys got everything you wanted. Ate very, very well, because I know I did. I mean, I'm on day 2. I'm Hispanic, so I did Noche Buena yesterday. Got fat. Had the Christmas with the in-laws today. Got fat. And then tomorrow is a brunch at my dad's to celebrate yet another Christmas. So it's going to be a real fat Mark day in the next few days. But it's great to talk Buccaneer football. They gave us an early Christmas present. Just stomping. Like, it was no chance they were coming, even a comeback. No chance they had anything in the game. They couldn't get anything developed. Defense looked unstoppable. Offense just did their part and did their things that they've been doing the past couple games, right? Just being consistent and getting the ball out fast. Running game wasn't there, but it didn't matter. Like, everything else was clicking in the passing game, and it's everything that we've wanted to see. What the hell happened for that middle part of the season? But I mean, we'll talk about it more about the coaching. Are they finally taking to the coaching? Is it just them finally seeing it? I mean, Todd Bowles said it best. It was like things that he saw during the losing streak. Said it like that's where he saw improvement. Like, these are things that we need to fix to move forward and be better. Like, I made a reference with Gene in the last live stream about how in the San Francisco 49ers game, we're still involved in the game. It wasn't like it was over. I think it was like 13-10 at halftime. It's not like it was a bloodbath. No, like, we just need to fix a couple of things, and we're involved in almost every game. And it's insane how much of a change you've seen in this Bucs team. Oh yeah, we're gonna talk to Devin White too, but plus, hit me with some good news.
Yeah, so like you said, a lot of good things are happening with this team. I think when we talked about it, earlier when the losing streak was happening, we, discussed the offense, and we were seeing little improvements, especially during that Texans game where you saw, concepts starting to click, timing was continuing to improve. So there were signs that even with the process being right for the offense, there was potential for this offense to start hitting on all cylinders and starting to explode. And we've seen the point totals, go up over the last 2 weeks, 34 in Green Bay, and now 30 yesterday against Jacksonville. So, I mean, a lot of good things offensively coming together, offensive line, run game, quarterback play, all those things are starting to find its rhythm. Now, granted, against Atlanta and against Carolina, Baker wasn't great. We know that. But they did enough to get the job done. And then the last 2 weeks, it seems like Baker's really amped up his play, being more consistent, understanding, who's open, finding the, deep shots as well, being more accurate downfield. I think that's been a big part of it. And then defensively, I think it's just understanding who they are, understanding, what they're supposed to be doing as far as concepts wise, and having guys in the right spot. And I think that's been a big thing of, being aggressive, playing to your calling cards. And a lot of guys are stepping up and making the plays.
Yeah. And to your credit on defense, I told you we're going to mention Devin White. A lot of Devin White snaps were him getting after the quarterback, moving downhill. Yes, he had the big, huge interception. I was like, of course, his first game back, he gets an interception. And now everyone thinks he's on top of the world. Good. I want him to feel that way. But realistically, that's not the best part of his game. Never has been.
Mm.
Did the quarterback throw it right to him? Yeah. But he
Mm.
still was in the right spot, which is very rarely there, but thankfully he was there, knock on wood. Majority of the times I did see him on tape, he was going downhill getting after the quarterback. That's what we want to see. I'm
Right.
hoping Todd Bowles sees that and he's like, okay, well, I'm going to keep sending him in because this is what benefits us, right?
Mhm.
In every which way. Like, yeah, you're going to see, there wasn't that many pass rushes. I think you said it's 20 something percent, but it doesn't matter. It matters which 4 are going in. They only measure a pass rush blitz if more than 4 guys go in. So it could have been him, Cansey, Vita Vea, and Logan Hall that went in. And that's not a blitz, but he still goes in. So they're using him correctly, finally.
Mm.
Yeah, because the first possession, it was KJ Britt, and then it was just all Devin White after that. I mean, if
Yeah.
you make a big splash play, it's hard to take you out too. But like you said, defensively, they're just doing what they're supposed to do. I think D. Delaney's quietly calmed down that section of the deep side of the field where Antoine Field's not at, and they were just targeting left and right.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. And again, everyone joining us, Merry Christmas to you all. Hope you all had a very nice holidays. So I hope you guys are enjoying the evening. And like you said, Mark, a lot of good things defensively. I think, there was better just overall as far as consistent tackling, guys being in the right spot. And again, the big players are stepping up. Antoine Winfield Jr., Levante David continues to play his way, and then you have guys like Yaya Diaby and Kalijah Cansey starting to come around as well and play better. So a lot of good things on both sides, and that's what we've been missing through most of the season is complementary football. Offense has to help out your defense and vice versa. So yeah, the main thing with offensively, I think the biggest thing that we've been seeing is they've been protecting the football. No turnovers yesterday. I don't think you had one last week against Green Bay, but you continue to win that turnover battle, right? So they're finding ways to put themselves in position. Getting leads, I think, is important, and then finding ways to sustain that.
Yeah, and offensively, yes, Baker did have maybe 2 or 3
Right.
interception worthy throws.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the stat sheet, you don't see as could have been interception.
Mhm.
But man, even like the deep ball to Mike Evans, I like the shot though that ends
Mhm.
up getting a pass rushing, roughing the
Rush-
pass call.
Right. Right.
I still like the shot. I mean, give your guy a jump ball chance. Another one was like an out route too. I think it was like Trey Palmer got
Mhm.
undercut. But either way, a lot of great reads, a lot of getting the ball out fast. Like you just said, just don't turn it over
Yeah.
and do everything you can to keep yourself in the game. And if your defense gives you anything of shortened field, capitalize. And they did do that. And that's complementary football stuff we talk about all the damn time. Uh, Running game wise, I just don't think they ran it early and then running late. I guess I don't know what happened. They just couldn't
Mhm.
forcefully run the ball. But I think the Jaguars were like a top 5 team against the run again. I want to make sure of that while you're talking on it, but I'm pretty sure they're a
Yeah.
really good team against the run.
Yeah, there wasn't much going on run wise. I mean, I think Chase Edmonds probably had the a couple of the longer runs, but yeah, just it wasn't there yesterday, and that's not a worry. I mean, they found ways to make the third down conversions. I think they still had too many. I think they had like 19 attempts on third down, but they converted, I want to say 10 of them. And then you also had Todd Bowles going for it on fourth down, which was nice, seeing aggression there and converting some of those plays. So that was important. Uh, doing different things with their designs, getting the screen game involved, like you said, and quick passing game was on rhythm, utilizing, Chris Godwin more and utilizing, Evans underneath, as an option with the slants and stuff like that. And they were just finding ways. I really liked, he only had one catch, but that was a nice play to Payne Durham, a little out and
Yeah.
up to him. And again, a nice timing play by Baker, good catch. And that sets up the Rashad White touchdown. So yeah, they did a good job of just taking advantage of the turnovers forced by the defense, getting points, getting a lead. You had 20-0 lead at halftime, and then you come out to start the half and you score a touchdown right away.
off a turnover.
Yeah, 27. So now 27-0. And that was pretty much the game. I mean, Jacksonville wasn't going to come all the way back. It got to 30-12 at one point, but that was really late, in the ball game. And then they just, got into victory formation and again, another win for this team. And now at 8-7, you have a great opportunity to win the division. And if you do win next week against the Saints, then you can pretty much do what you want if you want to rest your starters or continue to play them and just continue to win. They'll probably go that route. I would like to see them go that route, just continue to play, try to stay hot going into the playoffs. I think that's important. And who knows? Who knows? I mean, who knows what happens in the playoffs? You face Eagles or Cowboys, and we played those teams before, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and I want to say this too. Like Todd Bowles, he may not have the best press conferences, but he says things that have weight to him. He just doesn't say it in the demeanor that people want him to say it. He shows some emotion. He is who he is. But like realistically, I said it earlier in the pod, like he just saw things that they needed to fix and they fixed them. Like even Baker, like the Payne Durham little loft pass, that's an incomplete pass. Like he was not good accuracy wise deep. He just wasn't. It's usually the incomplete pass. The touchdown to Evans, the first touchdown, or no, the second one I think it was. Is that the deep post? Was that the second one? Yeah.
Yep.
Second one. That probably would have been an incomplete pass. That's a laser down the field. He's probably missing that one. So he's hitting passes that he didn't necessarily accurately throw in the beginning. And then now you don't see many drops. I mean, knock on wood, but there was maybe 2 or 3 drops, vital drops during each game that you're like, damn, there's another first down killer or just drive killer. We're not seeing that. And then the flags, there aren't that many flags either. They're actually becoming a winning team by cleaning up some of these mistakes or errors or mental errors. Like that's winning football. If you don't, the other team has to beat you. If you beat yourself, you're just giving it away. And I think that's the little area where they're getting better. It's not just young guys getting better. It's the whole entire team, like everything. It wasn't just one guy. I had so many film studies where I'm like, I want to point it at Baker, but it isn't necessarily Baker's fault 100%. And then the Falcons game came around. I'm like, damn, he's just not getting the ball out at all. But then 2 games after that, he's blown it up and just getting timing routes perfectly. It's a good thing to see as a Buck fan. I want to eat my words and say, yeah, like Baker's a good quarterback. He just had to get the timing and accuracy down, and he's getting it down right now.
Yeah, I think what they're doing a better job of setting him up for success, right? They're finding ways to make sure that first read is open. He's also doing a better job of quickening up his progressions as far as reads. The one in Green Bay where he went to his 4th progression, which was Rachaad White, hit him over the middle. Rachaad gets a big gain because of it. So those little things, you're seeing the timing improve for him. He's getting a little bit faster. Protection, for the most part, has been good. I think late in the game yesterday probably took too many hits. You don't want to see that. So that's something that they got to clean up, especially in the second half. I think he was talking about, having even more point total in the second half. They probably could have scored a little bit more instead of maybe being a little bit too conservative at times. I know they were trying to keep that clock moving, keep the run game going, but you would like to see, him, continue to add to the point total and get that win even higher. But, and Brutal as Bucs is making a good point as well. Him playing more out of shotgun, I think that has definitely been a big key, and that's huge, right? So getting him to see the field a little bit better, quicken up his decision making, and also finding ways to make sure that first read is open. So they're really setting him up for those timing routes like you're talking about.
Yeah, and like you said, setting things up early on. They're doing a lot more of the screens, throwing the quick pass, right?
Yeah.
Either quick out, quick short screen to Chris Godwin, short one to Trey Palmer. They're doing matchups where Evans is lined up against a linebacker. Like they're getting easy mismatches where it's easier for him to see it.
Right.
And that sets up everything later. So like that's why I was kind of mentioning of Todd Bowles, of stuff like that, but also Dave Canales after the Chris Godwin, his wife saga.
Yeah.
Coming together. How can we find the ball to you easier? Like, what are you really good at? So I can throw this back in there because maybe I'm not seeing this correctly.
Yeah.
That's ownership, and then that's applying it literally the week after. Like
Mhm.
everyone expected them to force feed them, but they did it in the right
Right.
ways, not just the same Canales offense. It works, yes, but find what every individual player you have, what do they do best? And I thought that was cool to see, and this marriage of the scheme, but also what his players do well.
Mhm. Yeah, and also, I mean, I don't know, did Todd Bowles use some timeouts before the first half? I think he did, right? So that was nice. I think they did before that Mike Evans touchdown, which was good. And I like the play call, right? Get Mike Evans. You had him isolated on, end up getting one-on-one coverage because the out route, I think, takes one of the underneath defenders.
Yeah.
So you set that up where Mike is open on the skinny post, and a great ball by Baker as he dropped back and threw that right as he got on his back foot. No hesitation. He just let it rip. And, Mike does Mike Evans, what he does. He catches the ball and gets another touchdown. So that was great to see them just being aggressive, before the first half. Obviously, get the Antoine Winfield pick. That sets it up. And you go into halftime 20-0. You feel really good about that. And then, just finding ways to close out the game. And that's what they did. And now you're at, 8-7 and looking really good in that playoff picture. It's crazy what things can do in this league. Like I always say, it's a week to week league. I mean, 1 week we're thinking fire everybody, right? Get rid of, just throw them away. They all suck. They can't play ball. The world is ending, and then we're all feeling good here on Christmas Day, 8-7, and first place in the division. And we'll see what happens as this team continues to hopefully progress. And they're finding ways to find that consistency, if you want to say, on both sides of the ball, and that's huge.
I mean, but it was all warranted. The things you were saying, and the way people were feeling, and fans were saying, "Get rid of Todd Bowles." I mean,
Yeah.
how many damn times can you have 10 or 9 players on the field? Like,
Yeah.
that is an issue, like multiple times, and on a goal line stance too. Like, that's something where player management's not going right, and then leaving guys out there that aren't playing to how they should. He's made changes. We're all saying maybe it's too late now
Mhm.
to make the changes. It's like, what the hell's happening? And it's crazy to think. I know the first 2 were against the Panthers and the Falcons, weren't that great wins, but still you won. And then now
Right.
you're getting the momentum behind it, just starting to actually look like you're a pretty damn good team.
Mhm.
Do we continue that against, again, a Saints team that their offense can't do just about anything? It's almost worse than it looked like for us in the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
And their aging defense, what happened? I don't know. But the Buccaneers are looking really damn good right now. To credit
Yeah.
to coaching, credit to
Yep.
players being consistent with it, not backing down or saying that the season's lost.
Mhm.
Like, it's a cumulative thing. But you got to give ownership to Todd Bowles for keeping the ship together, being consistent, because he could have just thrown in the towel easily.
Mm. Yeah, for sure. And I think I give him credit for making some adjustments. The rotation of, like we talked about, Devin White and KJ Britt. Finding ways to utilize your corners a little bit better, whether that be in press or zone. Understanding, who's playing better as far as pass rush, getting Yaya Diaby in there as a starter, changing it up as far as the rotation goes. And then offensively, I think Dave is just figuring out Baker, and Baker understanding the offense better. Guys are getting open. And the timing is just a little bit more on point. And, a lot of people in the chat, Brua's Bucs, he makes a good point. Packers defense isn't good. They allowed 30 to Carolina. Jaguars were losing a lot of games. They're on a 4-game losing streak. So, yeah, that all is added into that. But still, this is the NFL, and it's hard to win in this league. Winning 4 in a row is, you got to give some credit to the team for getting that done, because, again, this was a team that just lost 6 of the last 7 before we went on this winning streak. And for them to, get to where they are right now is great. And you have an opportunity to finish the season at 10-7, especially when you knew going into this season that it was going to be tough. It was going to be tough, no doubt, because you had a lot of cap space, or not a lot of cap space. You had a lot of dead cap space that you were against you. Couldn't really add in free agency like you would hope. So there were some missing pieces on the team, and you had to ask for certain guys to step up. And yeah, I mean, for them to do what they've been doing, I think it's a credit to the staff for making adjustments and finding a way. And yes, this is a weak ass division, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Like, you're taking advantage of a bad division, but that's still, I mean, that's not a problem for us. I mean, if the Bucs are going to win the division, that's fine. You get into the playoffs and you see what happens. I mean, anything can happen in the playoffs. Anybody can beat anybody on any given week.
Vegas beat the Chiefs today.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
and again, look at that team. Look at the Raiders. I mean, they get a better coach in there that is understanding who he has as a team, and they're starting to play better. They're starting to play for each other, and I think that matters a lot. So I think that would be a very successful season if they do find a way to get to 10-7, and we'll see what happens after this.
And I think that game, the Chiefs game, was at the Chiefs, I think. So I mean,
yeah, Kansas City.
That's why it's either way. They say it's week to week, but like it is. It's hard to get a win. They're all professionals doing what they do. It's don't beat yourself.
Right.
That's usually what these losing teams do. They beat themselves, which allows the other team to win easier. So it's almost like a chess game. Just don't make too many errors, and you'll be there in the end. And that's how it should be, because any team going against each other, it's tough.
Yeah.
You're ramming each other just to gain 1 yard at times. And yeah, then you have the tush push, cheating with leaning forward with Jason Kelsey. Hopefully they're getting that. But it's a tough game. Limit the errors. They've done that recently. And I agree with Brutal's Bucs, though. Like, yes, you saw 2 good games. The first two games were tough. I mean, the Falcons game, you saw my film study on that. It did not look pretty. Like, he was holding the ball way too damn long. And it wasn't one play, it was multiple plays. And I emphasize that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I get what he's saying as well.
What's that?
Yeah. No, I say I get what, the people that,
Ramrod.
the people that are, criticizing Baker. Yes, Baker deserves criticism. I mean, he's a limited quarterback, but I think what Dave has understood is putting him in a better position to have, like we said, the first read option open, finding ways to get him consistently getting rid of that football on time, playing within the system, not holding on to the football too long, not running into sacks. He did some of that yesterday. Yeah. So it's just being ahead of schedule. And I think that's key for Baker. Baker can still do enough to help this team win games. And that's the most important thing. Is he going to be the guy that carries your team? No, he's just not that dude. But he can, if the system around him is good and he finds a way to be consistent, that's his biggest issue. It's just finding consistency. And if offense coordinator can help him with that, then yeah, there's times where he can have good games like he did the last 2 weeks.
But all that, what you just said though, yeah, you shouldn't expect any quarterback to carry you. I mean, Patrick Mahomes did that in the Super Bowl, and he got his ass kicked by the Buccaneers. He made incredible throws, but still, guys weren't catching him. He was having to throw off of air, couldn't even throw off of his feet. Still, nothing happened. So you should never, ever be in that position. Baker shouldn't be in that position. Brady shouldn't have been in that position. None of them should be. That's why your coaches need a coach to get you in a plan to actually execute well. That's why Nick Foles can win a Super Bowl. That's why Joe Flacco can win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, Joe Flacco's winning now.
Right? So it shouldn't have to be quarterbacks being all world. It should be they just know how to execute a plan.
Yeah,
and making it better. Good.
Yeah,
he needs to do better himself though, getting the ball out faster. Yes, and he's somehow done that the last 2 games. But we need to see it consistently. And that's why, like Isaiah, no one's calling you a hater. You're just analyzing what you see. That's all we do here, and it's a good banter because it's where are these errors that are happening? Yeah, don't care how much I hate a receiver. It's not in the process. As long as we improve, fully agree. No
Yep.
one's being hateful. They're just trying to bring different scenarios of, what if he really does suck and it's just this good little run, right? But it's
Yeah.
all playing what you see in front of you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and every quarterback in this league has inconsistent games, right? There's all up and downs. I mean, we saw Dak Prescott. What was it against the Bills? He wasn't very good, and I don't think he wasn't good against Miami. So there's a lot of up and down play. Jalen Hurts has up and down games. Brock Purdy even has up and down games.
3
Like,
receptions today, I think, right now.
yeah, so all of them go through their struggles. All of them go up and down. I think the biggest thing for Baker, and it's been his biggest issue, I think, is just the deep ball consistency and finding a way to protect the football, and play with rhythm, right? Play with timing, not holding the ball too long, not taking sacks, not missing those open guys that are running to space and into the scheme, right?
Yep.
So that's the biggest thing. I think when we talk about coaching, helping your players, that's where it comes into play, is finding ways to get these guys to execute more consistent, or at least more than the bad plays, right? To help your team put yourself in a position to win, right? And that's what they've been doing the last 4 games.
And yeah, that was the biggest thing. We talked off air. Like, we just didn't think the coaching staff could put them in that position. And they're proving us wrong right before our eyes. Again, people will credit not good defense, but you're still winning games, right? It's how it plays in front of your schedule. If we have a weak schedule, good. Let's take advantage of it. Let's see what happens when we get playoff teams. Jacksonville wasn't technically a playoff team, right? So I'm proud to get the win, proud to continue with this momentum. And it's not like we barely won this one. We like annihilated them. So that's what a good team's supposed to do. I want to consistently see that. If we continue to do that, what are we arguing about?
Yeah. Yeah, good question here. Yeah, throw perfect passes. No, it's not all about that. It's just playing within the system, playing smart football, and finding a way to consistently move the team down the field, right? And convert into touchdowns. So yes, that's part of being quarterback. And it's not easy. It's not easy. So that's why you see these guys that are up for MVP, candidates, have up and down games, and it goes in and out. Yeah, driving the ball downfield consistently. Yeah, that's important. And I told that to you, Mark, as well. I was like, okay, his yards per pass attempt, I think, is around 7.2 or something like that. So if he can continue to get those chunk plays, get that up to 8, and it probably would be at 8 if guys didn't drop the ball earlier, right? In the season. So that's a big thing. But right now his stats look pretty good for a $4 million quarterback that, let's face it, we were supposed to be rebuilding this year, right? So there's a lot of benefits from that, and we'll see what happens in the offseason as far as who comes back. But right now it's, they're winning games, and I think that's the most important thing. As a fan, you got to be excited to see this team put together wins, and now we'll see what happens as they move forward against the Saints.
And Chuck said in there, haven't they been driving the ball down the field as of late? Yes. As of the past 2 games, they have. And that's why you see these numbers go up. But
and better in the red zone. So
but earlier in the season, they were not hitting. Accuracy on Baker's part was bad. There were drop balls. There were just Baker not seeing that open opportunity. So, and now they are hitting that. Can we continue that consistency is a big question. And that opens everything up. And that's why we kind of say that Baker is limited as a quarterback at times, because if he's not seeing the deep ball or not being accurate at the deep ball, teams aren't going to defend against that. Why waste a safety deep? He can't hit it accurately, right? So all the underneath shots get taken away. That limits you as an offense. That's why a lot of these teams that you see just blitzing left and right, because they're like, oh, this guy can't throw deep, right? And it's not just against Baker, it's against any rookie quarterback, any guy that just doesn't read the field well. So let's rush it. And when he does well, this is what happens. But you got to keep the defense honest. They're going to call things where if the deep shot's open, you got to take it and make them think, okay, we got to just give him underneath because he's going to hit us for 30-yard chunks left and right. We can't do that. That's the big part of the game, where the chess game that you have to hit, or they're just not going to send a deep safety.
Yep. No, exactly right. Exactly right. So they're setting those things up better. Now they're executing said plays. So that's a huge part of it. So yeah, you have to like that. And speaking of likes, guys, be sure to hit that like button. Give us a subscribe if you're new to us here. We appreciate all the support this season. It's been really fun, and continue to bring you guys new content and fun things, especially heading into the off season. But hopefully that's not anytime soon. I know, again, last month we were talking about the draft already, but now things have changed, and we'll see what happens as this team move forward. But appreciate all the support, everyone in here. Thank you guys so much, especially on Christmas. This is awesome that you guys come in to watch us, talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and football in general.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Merry Christmas again to y'all. Like, always glad to have you part of the show. You guys make the show. All your banter help us come with conclusions. It's not like we have all the right answers. Gene Thomas in the crowd as well, my man.
Yeah, welcome in.
Yep, you again for last week.
Yep. We got a question here from Tome. I think it's Tome 907, talking about Payne Durham. I think his role is expanding as we go week to week. He seems to get a little bit more targets, but Cade Otton is really taking pretty much all the snaps at tight end. But they are utilizing Payne more as a blocking tight end, so that's really cool. So yeah.
Gene, yeah, kid's not crying. He's asleep. He didn't have a nap today because of Christmas. He should be.
He's worn out.
Knocked out. Should be out for the count.
That's good.
Hopefully, yeah. That's what cut our show short.
Just slip him some Benadryl. He'll be good.
I mean, Coquito is like a milk, right? It's like a slight type of milk. So
there you go.
So one more on Chuck. So he's defending Baker, the offense, the Bucs. Didn't Baker and the offense learn a new system this season? So I guess it should be perfect from game one. No, it shouldn't be. But as the offense gets time under, like, to run the routes, run the plays, see it over and over and over again. We're in week 16?
Yeah.
Right? So it should be starting to hum around then. It shouldn't just be nothing, then right? You should be getting progressively better. And a lot of this was changes from the offense, from the offensive coordinator, changing things up a little bit. Yes, there were guys open at all times throughout the season. It was either a drop, not seeing it. Yes, I agree with him partly. The scheme, the system, as you continuously go through it, you should get better at it.
Yeah.
There were times this season where it looked like bad. Like it was just either Baker just didn't have it to run the system, just based off not seeing it quickly. And that's the part where you need to be able to diagnose what's happening. And he wasn't. There was not like there was big pressure in his face. He just couldn't read it. So, I mean, yes, you're right. But you also want to see it maturely get better as the season went on. I mean, we're hitting all cylinders right now. Let's keep it up. But it was just in that lull, it looked rough. Let's put it that way. Yes, you want to touch on that.
No, I think that's what you usually expect from an offense going into the season. You want to see that consistent improvement. There was positive starts in the beginning where certain things were going our way. We were getting turnovers. We were executing at the right times to get the points and the leads that we needed to start 3-1. And then it just kind of, it fell off there for a little bit, 4 straight losses, and then, up and down, and then some games where they finally found the rhythm. You score, what was it, 37 against Houston, and you thought, okay, maybe this is the start of things to come. Unfortunately, you lose that game because the defense, and then, I think the next week, what was that? That was San Francisco, right? And they looked good in that game. Again, just couldn't punch it in, right? You couldn't punch it into the red zone. You couldn't get those touchdowns that were needed.
Fumbles middle of the field. You could have had a field goal, but Baker fumbles.
Yeah, so just inconsistencies there. And then, once we got, I think the Colts game, same thing
Oh, yeah.
where
That was ugly.
where it's just inconsistencies all over. And they were scoring points. They got to 20, but then defensively not as good. And then now this 4-game win streak and things look better. Granted, some of the opponents not the greatest, but hey, they're finding ways to win games. They're finding ways to show that consistent improvement. And it seems like the offense has an identity and they know where they're supposed to be. Guys are running the right routes. We're not seeing like too many spacing issues where guys are running into each other. We've seen some of that, where guys are too many guys in one spot of the field, but now it's starting to click, and hopefully that continues as we face a Saints defense that is still, manageable. But I think hopefully we can, find success against them.
But again, like everyone keeps saying it's Baker is making everything better. It's not. It's the whole system.
Yeah.
Utilizing Rashard White a lot more in pass catching situations. We weren't doing that early on. Utilizing Chris Godwin in screen situations. We're not doing that. He had a grand total of 1 before the Packers game.
Right.
The whole season. They weren't doing that at all.
Yeah.
Getting Evans lined up against linebackers in the middle of the field. They weren't doing that consistently. It's finding ways to use these guys in favorable matchups, and they're doing that more. Yes, like you said, against lesser competition, but still they're seeing what's working and how they can set things up. And that's what you want to see. And to me, that's not just Baker. That's the whole players themselves and the coaching staff using it correctly. That's what we wanted to see. You can't put it all on Baker because that's the biggest point I always make. You can't expect him to be all world. You got to use the talent you have around him. That's all. That's what I got from Tom Brady the whole time he was here. Y'all need to start flipping that mindset. It's not just on the quarterback.
Yeah, no, you're 1,000% right on that. I think it's just, it takes 11 working as one. We always talk about that on here, and both sides of the ball. Defensively, doing your job, finding ways to get turnovers or stops. Offensively, finding ways to find that consistency, move the football, go to your playmakers that are there, that are available, and create ways to get them open. And then running the football as well. The run game has come on over these last several weeks. Yes, it wasn't great yesterday, but they still committed to it. Even though it wasn't working, they still committed to it. I think that's important because you keep the passing attempts down for Baker. I think that's huge. So we'll see what happens, moving forward. And this Saints matchup, again, a huge game, can, clinch the division, and then you're just waiting for your next opponent in the playoffs. So it should be interesting to see how those things shape up for them.
And another funny component, if we win against the Saints, win the division, and then you get one more win than Tom Brady had last year. So technically Baker's better than Tom Brady. I said it. Technically, that's how we view it, right? No, I mean, Tom, the greatest ever, but he had the dumbest offensive coordinator, and he didn't have the amount of weapons he had the first 2 years.
Right. Yep.
And he was literally winning the only games by himself. It felt like it's like, oh, that's a stupid play call. Let me just do whatever I want.
Right.
But yeah, this is what happens when coaching actually comes in, not just the quarterback, Tom Brady, willing you to a win.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. I think, and that's another thing. Like, Todd Bowles took a risk on Dave Canales, and Dave talked about that. Just him staying committed to him and allowing him to basically learn under fire. Trial by fire, and he's doing a great job of continuing to make adjustments. And we're seeing that, different things week in and week out, understanding how to attack the defenses different each week. And I'm sure this week's game plan will be, a huge part of that, especially after you've already played the Saints early in the year. So, the Saints are going to adjust. And it should be a great matchup. I think it's going to be a game where Buccaneers are probably going to be favored, and we'll see if they can come out on top.
Yeah. So we talked a lot about the offense. Let's look at a lot of the bright spots on defense. Yep. I want to say, yeah, the young guys are like Kancey's playing with so much confidence and like getting hyped up with like Yaya Diaby whenever he makes a play. He's in the backfield. He may not get credited for many tackles, but he's literally disrupting a lot of plays. Like when I was rewatching the game, he's in the middle of everything. If not getting the tackle, he's right there disrupting it. Right.
Mhm.
Yaya, I feel like every time it's a tackle for loss for him, it's not just like a 1 yard tackle for loss. It's like a 5 to 7. It's
Yep.
nuts how far he gets in the backfield. So
Mhm.
them two primarily in the middle. And then I
Yeah.
was talking with you. Logan Hall, he's not getting stats, but
Right.
he's filling in and doing things he needs to be doing correctly. He's not just getting
Mhm.
washed out of a play.
Right.
For me, I'm the biggest critic of him. I'm giving him his
Mhm.
appreciation from my side to him. Yeah, like you may not be getting sacks, but you're doing a job. And if someone were to slip out of one of these Devin White rushes or Avante slip out the sack he got,
Mhm.
Logan Hall's right there. And
Right.
I gotta give oh, that was loud. Uh,
No, I agree with you. I think all those guys are playing, stepping up. Kalijah Cansey, Yaya, KJ Britt playing well when he was in there yesterday, mainly on first and second down. And obviously the return of Devin White was the story. He ends up getting an interception, of course, on the first drive, and then causing another turnover later in the game where he gets a sack and Yaya knocks the ball out. So his play was better. It looks like he really put maximum effort in most of his plays, so that was good to see. And then secondary wise, I mean, Antoine Winfield is doing everything in his power for this team. He's basically everywhere, making hits, tackles, sacks, doing it all. And he's going to get a big contract. Like basically, he can get a blank check from the Buccaneers. I think that's how they're going to look at it. And you look at guys that will get contract extensions. I think Mike Evans, Winfield, Worse, all these guys, Levante, hopefully be back. And it remains to be seen on Devin White. I think, hopefully they let him continue to walk. I wouldn't bring him back. But yesterday was a step in the right direction if they will consider bringing him back, but I wouldn't pay him big time money. That's for sure.
I wouldn't at all. In the limited time you saw Servassier doing stuff, I mean,
Yeah.
I fully agree. Devin White can get after the quarterback really well. He goes downhill real fast. Use him in that capacity, but like dropping back that one time was flawless. Yes, but if you tell him to do that consistently, he's not going to succeed. And we've seen that for years now. And I know he talks a big game. He's a captain, whatever. But for him to ask for $20 million plus, no. I mean,
Yeah.
you won the first 3 games without him. Usually you pay guys that much if they're that vital for your team.
Yep.
Usually next man up is just a saying, right? Because you're hoping to get the other guy back. You won 3 without him.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's a good comment right there. $20 says the Saints signed Devin White.
good.
Yeah, I could see that happening. For sure.
They know how to waste money. They know how to waste
not
money.
worth 20 million. Yeah.
How much did they get him for?
Yeah, right. But yeah, overall, I think just a lot of good things happening for the team. It seems like things are really going their way. So that's awesome. And yeah, I'm excited to see where this thing goes. I just hope the process continues to be like it has been. It seems like finally on both sides of the ball, the coaching and the players are working together as far as where the strengths are lining up for these guys, where they're playing to them. We're not seeing certain things where, oh, that didn't make sense, or, why are you doing this? There's not a lot of that going on right now. So I think that's important. Hopefully that, bleeds into these weeks as, we finish the season and finishes the season on a strong note. I think even if you win next week against the Saints, I would like to see another win against Carolina and, finish the season strong.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially if you're going to make the playoffs and running in, you want to
Right
ride in hot. I want to comment on this. Need Shaq Barrett to return to his old self.
Mm.
I'll say this: Shaq is making, I guess, the plays he needs to make, but he's just not making the plays that we want him to make. So
Right.
as in, like, yes, getting after the quarterback, getting pressures like crazy, getting sacks. He's not getting that crazy money that he's getting right now. Is it worth
Yeah.
it? Not necessarily. Yes, you're coming
Right.
off of an Achilles. He's a great leadership, great for the locker room.
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't know if you bring him back. I know he's still under contract, but he's like, it's one of these out years, I think next year.
Right.
But he's
Right.
doing all the right things. I mean,
Yeah.
if it was for the love of the game, staying,
Mhm.
yes, but if it's a business too. So you got to look at production that way.
Mhm.
But to say that he's like a liability like Devin White is, not at all. I think he's good in the running game, good in the screen game, good in the flats, doing everything like he's supposed to. He's just not getting after the quarterback consistently like he did when he got that money, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's tough. I mean, Achilles injuries always have an effect on anybody, and especially when you play a position where you have to find ways to turn that corner, at elite speed, or have that balance to get drive through. It's tough for him because he does a lot of misdirection things. That's part of his game where you got to stop on a dime. You got to be able to turn that acceleration, and so that definitely plays a part. But other than that, guys, I think we're gonna wrap it up here. Enjoyed having everyone on here. Appreciate all the support. Hit that like button, like we talked about earlier. Show us love on there. Comment, what you thought of the live stream. If there's anything else you want to be discussed, leave it in there. We'll try to get to it in another video. But other than that, guys, I think that's going to do it for us. Everyone have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We'll be probably back on next Monday for New Year's. Maybe, I don't know. Are we going to do New Year's show? Probably be back on. So, so we'll wish you a Happy New Year then as well.
Or you may be over here for the game, so we may do it right after the damn game. You never know.
Possibly that could that could happen. So maybe a surprise live stream.
You never know.
So keep that subscribe button on, hit the notification so you guys get the message on your phone, and you guys can show up then, and hopefully the Bucs are at 5 wins in a row after next week. But with that said, everyone have a great night, and until the next one, we'll see you. Go Bucs.
Woo!